you are, check out Providence Elder Place PACE. This program offers healthcare, housing, transportation, and recreational activities. There are no copays or deductibles, and it's covered through Medicare and Medicaid. Providence Elder Place PACE works to keep you healthy and in your home. Call 206-320-5325 or visit providence.org Elder Place. Providence.org Elder Place.
What's going on, world? It's your boy OG Mambo
and your guy D Money. Join us along with Pint Size Patron and I myself
here on Fresh Juice at Rainier Avenue Radio
every Wednesday hump day from 9 to 11 Pacific.
Get exclusive interviews from your favorite artists, all the hottest music, and updates on what we got going on in the world.
That's every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. on Seattle's Rainier Avenue Radio.
Women are not an homogenous group.
We face discrimination differently depending on factors such as ethnicity, age, socioeconomic status, and more.
Rainier Avenue Radio is proud to amplify women's voices.
They are the experts of their own lives, initiating conversations within their community about challenges they face, the solutions they're working on, and the opportunities they see.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 for Women's Voices on Air. We know our challenges. We are the experts of our lives.
We are master multitaskers, prioritizing our family, friends, and our faith above our own needs.
Our needs and voices are too often overlooked.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. for Women's Voices on Air.
We tell our stories in our own way.
Antique radios,
Fibber McGee and Molly,
phonographs, vintage TVs,
Lone Ranger,
transistor radios. The annual Puget Sound Antique Radio Association Vintage Electronics Swap Meet has it all and much more. Sunday, August 20th, 9 to 2, Shoreline Community College. Go to PugetSoundAntiqueRadio.com for more information.
Rainier Avenue Radio. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hello, hello.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to, where are we? Real Estate and Money on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Hi, Tina.
Hi, how are you? And my name is Tina Lombard. I'm with Bank of England and
Violeta Strash with John L. Scott, Kent North.
Great. Good to have everybody here today. We've got a very interesting subject we're going to be talking about today right after we have our updates. We're going to be talking about rental properties, how to invest them, how to find them, and what kind of benefits you can achieve by having investment properties.
Yes. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping first because we seem to get through the show and not have time to do this. So here we go. Rainier Avenue Radio is a people-oriented media outlet dedicated to amplifying the diverse voices of our community. We're asking you to make a difference and invest in our independent organizations so that we can continue to enrich our community through the programs that you love. We are kicking off our summer campaign to support Rainier Avenue Radio from now until August 1st, so just a couple more weeks here. Maybe just one more week. We are asking you to make a gift in support of our work. Go to RainierAvenueRadio.world and click on Donate to make a gift. Every gift matters, and we are working to raise the resources needed to fund our programming. So please consider making a donation to the station. Thank you.
Yes. So before we go on, radio, Rainier Avenue World has been a blessing to our lives and to people in our community. So whatever you can do to support us and support the station is very much appreciated, because without stations like Rainier Avenue Radio, we wouldn't have a voice in the community. So thank you, Rainier Avenue Radio, for giving us that opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much, Tony Benton and crew, and especially Daniel Bellis, our extraordinaire producer, music director, news director, the jack of all trades at the station. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. So let's start with my market update, inventory counts. In King County, we have in the past week, 462 homes are active, 336 went pending, and there is 389 homes sold at an average price of $1,146,000, up 3% from last year, which was $1,108,000. And that was in King County. For Pierce County, active listings, I have 197 on the board, pending 107, and sold 191. So look at, not very much inventory in Pierce County. And the average price of those homes sold was $593, pretty even from last year, $597,000. Snohomish County, we're looking at 156 homes that are active, 171 homes went pending, 167 homes sold at an average price of $834,000, down 3% from last year, $807,000. Now I wasn't able to pull the stats for this week. There's some changes with Northwest MLS Info Sparks. I'll have to check into that and get back to you next week. All right. Tina, what's going on in the mortgage?
Okay. Yes. Well, let me tell you really quick. If you can go ahead and tag on that link right there, Daniel. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on with the interest rates. What you'll see here as far as NerdWallet is concerned, the interest rates actually went down slightly. They're at a national average right here of 6.758. That's a 30-year fixed mortgage national average. A 15-year rate is at 5.941. And an FHA loan is at 5.617. And the 30-year fixed VA loan is at 5.823. If you look down again, you'll see the trend that the mortgage rates are actually going down. That's the trend. So that doesn't mean that they're not going to spike back up. But for right now, a 30-year fixed at 6.834 is actually a deal compared to the last couple of weeks and months that we have been looking at. If you look again at the FHA rate, you'll see it's 5.617, which is about, it's over a point lower than a 30-year fixed. The VA loan of 5.8. And once again, that's almost, a full point below the market value. Below the 30-year fix. So if you are looking at getting a loan, you may want to ask your lender to look at an FHA rate, because even with the FHA rates, with FHA having mortgage insurance, a fixed mortgage insurance, no matter what you put down, it's still a better rate. So if you are a listing agent out there and somebody does offer you an approval letter, then it does show a 30-year fixed FHA loan. It may not be such a bad idea because those interest rates are actually lower, even with the mortgage insurance. So that's a good buy. So for everybody out there in the market, thank you, Daniel. For everybody out there in the market, the rates are starting to trend down. As what we're finding out is that as interest rates go down, the values of houses actually go up because there's more people out there qualifying for the same house. And so there's more competition. And of course, that's what we ran into years ago during COVID when the interest rates were at 2.3, 2.5. The market was actually out of control and the houses were going up in price because everybody was competing and they were doing a lot of offers that were over market price. So right here in the Denver area, V, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Denver area. It looks like the number of homes sold in the Denver County area in Colorado, 1,326, and that's down by 16% over last year. As far as the median days on the market, there are 9 days on the market now, and that is up 53%, which is great. The average price, median sales price is $550,000, which is about half of Seattle's, and the new listings. Actually, there's 1,758 new listings in this area, and that's actually down 8.9%. So we're kind of holding steady here. The market's interesting here in Denver. But as far as rates are concerned, grab your house now. Don't wait for the rates to go lower. If they should hit 6.3 or right when they go below 6%, there's going to be a frenzy in the market. So many people are going to be applying or trying to make an offer on the same house. So you don't want to wait till the interest rates go down. You can always refinance. So if you get a rate right now at 6.7, or if you get an FHA rate in a year from now or 2 years from now, when the interest rates go down, you could always refinance. But by that time, the value of the house is going to go up. So, so Daniel, you can bring V back on again. But, Violeta, when interest rates go down and people start making these crazy offers on the houses, the prices just go up, 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 up. So I tell people, why are you waiting for the interest rate to go back down to 4.5 or 5%? That $850,000 home you're making an offer for now at 7%, when the rates are like at 4, whatever, that house is going to be at $950,000. Your payment's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you can buy now, and let's say you buy a house at $850,000 and the interest rate is like 6.8. Okay. And 2 years from now that house is worth, $1.2 million. Okay. And the interest rates go down to 4%. You can always refinance. And now you're sitting on a big fat load of equity. So do not let the interest rates dictate whether you should buy a house or not. If you want to buy a house, you're sick and tired of paying these crazy rental fees, then a rental, cost, then go ahead and offer on a house and buy a house. So this leads to what we're talking about today. Me and Violeta are going to be talking about rental properties, because people are like holding back. They're like, I'm not going to pay 5%. I'm not going to pay 6%. I'm not going to pay 7% for mortgage. So I'm going to rent. So the landlords are like, come on. Yeah, you can go ahead and pay me rent, because there are so many houses and there's so many doors. So the rental properties, their rents are actually going up. So we're going to talk about today, if you want to buy a house, if you want to buy investment property, how can you do that? And can you make a profit off of it?
Yes. Now, I heard some great statistics this morning at a class that we had here at John L. Scott. The Wall Street Journal reported 7 million households in the U.S., households that are making over $150,000 a year. These people are renting. Why? 3 million households. And then 7.8% of your neighborhood sold their home last year at an average price of $605,000 in this area. What could you do with your hard-earned equity to jumpstart your next chapter in life, right? What should you be doing? And just know that 39% of homes in America are owned by people free and clear. 39%. And then 29% who have homes that are mortgaged still have 50% or more in equity. So use your money power. And if you can't see buying a home right now, you can get into the rental investment side of things, right, Tina? That's what we're talking about. How can you leverage your money? You've been you were used to getting the 2.5% or between 2 and 3% interest rates, and you've built some equity in your home, but still kind of leery about getting into the 6-7% interest rate market. What do you do?
Yeah, that's a good question, because what Violeta is talking about, are people who bought their houses maybe 5, 6 or plus years ago, and maybe they had an interest rate of 4.5 or 5%, and then COVID hit, and now they've got an interest rate of 2.125, literally, and so their $400,000 home a month, the mortgage payments are maybe $1,600 or maybe $1,200 a month. Who knows, right? So these people are still making the same amount of money, let's say $160,000 a year per household. So what are they doing with all that extra money? Are they going to trips around the world? Are they buying Lamborghinis? I mean, what are they doing? Well, a lot of people, instead of just putting all their money in retirement, they're taking their savings and they're wanting to do something different with it. So if you do have 20% down on any type of property, you can buy investment property. Now, what's nice about it, let's say that you get a house at like $800,000 in Seattle, and let's say a down payment is $160,000, and then you rent a property. Let's say the property gets $6,000 a month. Let's say your payments are $4,000 a month. Then you've got $2,000 a month of cash flow.
Yep.
Right. I'm not quite sure. I know a lot of people in Seattle, they've got Boeing retirement, they've got Amazon retirement, they've got hospital retirement, and their retirement is getting, I don't know how much per year. But if you look at the cash flow you get from a rental property versus the appreciation or the interest you're getting on your retirement home, it makes a lot of sense to get rental property. So what a lot of people are doing is they're sitting on their house. They bought their house maybe 12, 15 years ago. They bought it for $250,000, let's say, in Federal Way or something. And now the house is worth, $600,000-$700,000. Same house. Kids are gone. They don't know what to do. You can actually pull the equity out of your house to do a down payment on another house. Okay. So if you take out the equity of your home, let's say your house is worth $800,000 and you only owe $200,000 on it, then you could probably take $200,000 or $300,000 out of your house either by a line of credit or a home equity line of credit or something of that nature,
Mhm.
and you're able to put down on another piece of property. Okay, so let's say your house is getting 10% a year, which is great. But if you can take your equity out of your house and use that equity to actually buy you another house, now you've got two pieces of property that are appreciating. And what's even better is that you live in your house, so you can't charge anybody to rent there. But if you do have a different property and somebody's actually not only paying your mortgage, now they're giving you positive cash flow above and beyond your mortgage. It's a win-win situation.
Mhm.
You can't just think all your money is going to be put in retirement or in an IRA in your account. And you're just going to flip it and get more and more money. That's great. But real estate, it's proven time and time again that real estate is one of the best investments you can make with your money.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So V, do you have people, that who've got equity and they're looking for another house, don't know what to do with their money, and they're looking for rentals?
Always. There's always people like that, investors sitting around thinking about what to do with their money, and they've flipped homes. So they buy and flip, or they buy, fix it up, and rent their homes. And in this area, you can look at $600,000 to $800,000 on a home that would have 4 or 5 bedrooms, 2 or 3 baths, and those are perfect for rentals. You see duplexes and multifamily homes that, hey, if you can afford it, use that money. You have your own home. And make yourself some money.
Yes.
By getting a rental piece of property. And like Tina said, your payments on that home would be less than what you probably charge a couple $1,000 to $3,000 for a home that would have 4 bedrooms. Yeah.
And it's very easy. When you look at Zillow, if you look at an address, you put up on Zillow, and it'll tell you how much expected rent you can get for that piece of property. So that's just a good indicator. If you know that your mortgage is lower than what you can get for rent, then that's a sure fit. And a lot of times, Violeta, there are people who like VA or FHA, and people have the down payment, but they can't necessarily afford the mortgage, or they don't want to pay that much for a mortgage. So like I have a gentleman now, and he's making like $7,000 a month, let's say. And he's looking at a duplex. If he can get a duplex in this area that pays $3,000 a month, and his mortgage is $3,500, his mortgage is paid for. So once again, if you are looking to buy a home, let's say you do have a down payment of 3%. Let's just say you've got 6 or 7% you could put down, but you don't want to bite on that monthly payment because the rates are a little higher. Well, get yourself a duplex or a triplex, because chances are the duplex itself is going to be paying for more than 50% of your mortgage. Okay, so let's say you buy a duplex and the payments are $4,000 a month, but this person next door of your duplex is paying $2,500 a month. Then you're only paying $1,500 a month. Right. And if you get a triplex, the same thing too. Let's say the triplex, somebody's paying $1,200. Yeah. And your payments are, let's say, $4,000. Who cares? Because you're getting $3,000 from the other 2 units. So if you're a first-time home buyer, don't pencil that out. If you've got enough money for the down payment, but you don't like that mortgage, you don't like it. I mean, let's say you can afford $4,000 or $5,000 a month, but you just don't want to. Well, then get yourself a duplex or a triplex. You only have to be in the property for a couple of years, and then you can move on and so on and so forth and buy another home that's by yourself. But that's a good way to start. So before we go into mortgages, let me just look at, let me send you this really quick. Let me just tell you really quick some of the benefits of having a rental property and the reason to invest. First of all, you're going to have cash flow. So instead of just making a mortgage payment, you're going to make a mortgage payment. You're going to have payment above and beyond from the renters. So you'll have a positive cash flow. Now, there's also a lot of tax breaks and deductions. So when you have a rental property, it's a way of cutting down on taxes. And you have more deductions. So it helps with taxes. Appreciation. So if you buy a rental property now, let's say the rental property is $600,000. Well, it's going to appreciate just like your house is going to appreciate. So $600,000, maybe next year it's worth $650,000, the next year it's worth $700,000. So not only are you gaining equity and appreciation on the property, but people are paying you. They're paying you for the house so you can have this appreciation. So that's one of a big benefit. Now it's a way of like building wealth and equity. It's a way of building wealth. So if you have 2 houses, the appreciation of 2 houses is going to be much greater than you have an appreciation of just 1 house. And so I have a lot of people, they get it. They understand you put 20% down. And with 20% down, you've got a rental, you got a mortgage and a rental, and it's positive cash flow. And once you have that positive combination, you got a house, you got a positive cash flow, it's never a debt against you. So a lot of my clients, once they have one investment, they have 5 or 10 different investment properties because now they have 20% to put down another house, another house, another house. And since their mortgage is less than their cash flow, they just keep getting rental properties. So it's a win-win. So just start with one and keep going. Okay. So that's basically kind of the big benefits of having a rental property.
And plus, you write off any improvements, right?
Yes, improvements. I mean, tax. There's a lot of different expenses. You know, we'll have to get a specialist on here. But having having an investment property, there's a lot of taxes that you can use. You can write off.
Write off, yeah.
So yeah, so you know, a lot of people don't realize this, but it's a very easy thing. Once you have one rental, it keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. A lot of times, you don't have to manage it. I mean, my mother had an apartment building down on Rainier Avenue. She had 2 houses up in Skyway. She had all this crazy real estate, and she managed it by herself. It just drove her and my father nuts. But most nowadays, they actually just have a management company that runs everything. And when I lived here in Colorado and I had a house in Seattle that I was renting, I had a management company that handled everything. So I wasn't having to fix a toilet or a leak or anything in the middle of the night. I had a management company. So as long as you put the management company into the expenses, you'll be able to see it's kind of like an autopilot. Okay, it's kind of like.
And sometimes it would cost you 10% of the rent.
Sometimes it does, yeah. You can say $200 or 10% or what have you. And so I had a real estate company. Like
well worth it.
Like there's John L. Scott, there's Coldwell Banker, there's all these different real estate companies that actually will actually manage it for you. So you just have to look. So what I've got now, so Daniel, you've got the flyers that I sent you? Let's pull those up if you have them really quick. And I'm going to talk about what's called a DSCR loan. So it's DSCR. It's a debt service cash flow loan. And basically, there you go there. If you see here, there's a lot of benefits in this. Let's see if I can just blow up my own screen so I can read it for you. So you have quicker closing times. A lot of times with these DSCR loans, we don't look at employment. We don't look at income. I don't care if you're working here or there, or what you're making as an employee, what have you. We don't care. There's no income. There's no employment. There's no income. There's no limit to the number of properties. So sometimes banks will limit you at 10 doors or 10 loans. And so there is no limit with these type of loans here. All you need is as little as 20% down. A lot of people have a 30-year fixed mortgage in mind, but a lot of these properties, they go to a 40-year amortization or they do interest only. So that really helps. Okay, so let me see here. There's long-term and short-term rentals. So in other words, you can do Airbnb or VRBO with these programs. So these are very, very easy to have here. What is a debt service loan? Let's look at that really quick and kind of give you the explanation of that. A debt service loan is a type of non-QM loan that is for real estate investors. Lenders use a DSCR loan to help qualify real estate investors for a loan because it can easily determine the borrower's eligibility to repay without verifying income. So what they're trying to say, V, is, I have clients, let's say they're buying one of these DSCR loans. So you can keep that up there, Daniel. You're buying one of these loans. Let's say that the rental on this unit is $5,500 a month.
Okay.
Your mortgage is $3,000. Do we really care if you make any, if you're selling cupcakes on the side or whatever the heck you're doing? We don't care. You put 20% down, and as long as the rent comes in higher than the mortgage, you're going to get this loan. Of course, you have to credit qualify, so on and so forth. But we've got credit scores that go down to 630 or 640, what have you. So this is a very good program. Do you have one more flyer for me, Daniel? I have another flyer here that talks about it. Now, there are a lot of lenders who do these loans, but here at Bank of England, this is like one of my favorite loans. Qualifications based on the property cash flow. Like I said here, a minimum DSCR ratio of 1%. So at least if you have a rent that's $4,000, your mortgage is $4,000, that's perfect. Okay, so at least it's got to be positive. Okay, let me see here. 80% loan to value. So of course we can go 20% down. Credit score starting as low as 600. So I stand corrected. We can go down to 600. Okay. Like I said, I don't care where you work. I don't care what your income is. I only care about the property. And like I said, if you're in a situation where your debt to income ratio on a 30-year fixed mortgage is a little bit higher than the rent, then let's do a 40-year mortgage or an interest only program. So V, I do these loans. I have a gentleman in Connecticut and in Boston. He had like 5 of these that I did. And I mean, it was just easy. He was buying apartment buildings there for $200,000, getting $3,200 a month, or in one case, $5,500 a month on this piece of property. And his loan was hardly anything. So very, very good numbers. Once again, we just look at credit score. We looked at you got 20% down, seasoned. Okay, we're good to go. The rent is higher than the mortgage. Let's do it. Now, a lot of times you'll find people talk about buying investment properties and opening up an LLC. So let's say, Violeta, and Dan, you decide to buy rental properties, but you don't want, you want the rental properties to be separate from your personal. So you start an LLC. Okay. You start an LLC, V and Dan's, LLC. That way your taxes, your EIN number, everything is separate. So we'll do these properties in an LLC.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not just yourself. You can put it in an LLC, and we just need the paperwork. And clients, if you do not have an LLC, we actually can help you or tell you, put you in the right direction to develop an LLC. Okay. So these properties are very, very good. They're very, very easy to do. If you're sitting on a 2.2 rate on your home and you're paying like $800 a month, on your property, and you probably got a lot of money, you're not really doing anything. It's a very good idea to take out 20% of your equity and put it towards a home equity loan. Put the home equity loan towards a down payment on a rental property. And me and you can find one. We can find a property that has never been rented before, that you say, hey, this would be a good property to Airbnb. I have some friends, they live in Palm Springs, and they're renting their Airbnb out for like $7,000 a month, and their payments were like $1,000. This is the type of stuff you can do, and it doesn't have to be in. It could be anywhere in the United States. Okay, in fact, Seattle may not be the best, but there are little areas, like Cannon Beach, there's different areas you can go, tourist areas, or just what have you. But it's out there, it's available. So if you have equity sitting around, if you have cash sitting around, you've got like $400,000 in your Boeing's, retirement fund. You're like, I need something a little bit more exciting. This may be a very good route. Like I said, you can go up to 10 properties very easily once you get the combination down.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, great areas would be around colleges, right? You got students looking for a place to live, not necessarily on campus because it's limited housing on campus.
Yep.
So, look around colleges, universities. I know I'm thinking about, North Carolina, where my son is going to school at Duke.
Yep.
Get some kind of a duplex out there. Prices are less than they are here. My son could live in one, rent out the other half. Boom, it's all paid for, right?
Yeah. Right. And then you can get a management company to manage it for you.
Yeah.
A lot of these people, the return on your income it's insane. You can rent out like a 5-plex or something like that, rent it out for like $8,000 a month, and your payments are like $2,000 or $3,000. It's just win-win. So don't be just blocked on a certain area location. Just like V said, buy the colleges. If you can buy a condo or something like that, buy it. Make it into a DSCR, make it into an investment property.
By hospitals too, because chances are a loved one is in the hospital. You need to stay somewhere for a while. Those are places that people look for, proximity to things that they need right now.
Absolutely. So, if you want more information on this, Violeta's got a combination. I've got a combination of what works. Just call us and say, hey, this is my income. This is what I'm looking for. Does it work? At least have the conversation with us, and we can tell you how you get approved or how you can buy a property. But if you're interested, just give us a call and just talk to us and see what we can do for you, see what you can find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll help you spend your money. Yes. Then a new car, a boat, whatever. Land is so much better.
Yeah, like I've got a client right now. They wrote off they had like $20,000 or $30,000 they wrote off on a truck and supplies because they had rental properties and they were going around the rental properties and fixing the rental properties. There's all these tax write-off opportunities. Yeah.
No, I forget about that. Transportation to get materials to and from your rental.
Yes, you know what? Next week, I may have my friend come on from Arizona, a Filipino lady and her husband. They own 3,700 doors.
What?
Yeah, they're like apartment buildings.
They're like 30, right?
Well, he's a doctor. He's a psychologist, and she, and they actually got into rental properties, so they would have a tax write-off. They were like paying $80,000 to $90,000 a year, and they'll tell you this. And they needed a tax write-off. So we'll talk about that. But there are a lot of tax benefits. There's just a lot of appreciation, a lot of cash flow. If you're just sitting on money, just sitting there, you need to do something with it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not going to go with you.
No, it's going to go to your children.
Yeah. And if you don't have any, your cats or dogs or whatever, you don't want that.
I'll go to somebody. But if you get some positive cash flow and you can spend the summer in Paris or Bali or whatever you want to do, hey, go for it. If you get some cash flow, do it.
Yeah. That way you can afford a vacation because you got all that money coming in.
Without guilt. Yes. So anyways, thank you so much. I think we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
But yes. So thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, I say, give us a call. Give me a call or get Violeta a call and we'll help you out quickly.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next Tuesday with the Filipino couple with all these homes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Tina. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Daniel.